Welcome to Ministry of Offence, the show that brings the two sides of the political divide together in order to confirm that, yes, the other side really are terrible, terrible people. I'm your host, Stephen Allen, and I'm going to start with a quick recap of the news you might have missed this week. Keir Starmer has vowed to resign if police find him guilty of breaking the law over COVID restrictions. If Keir does stand down, it might take a while for Labour to find an equally effective and charismatic replacement, as there's a backlog at Madame Tussauds. Liz Truss plans to ditch the Northern Ireland Protocol and remove the current border in the Irish Sea, and that has to be an improvement, as it's almost impossible to have respect for a customs officer who's wearing armbands and a rubber ring. Elon Musk says if he succeeds in buying Twitter, he'll allow Donald Trump back on. That'll be good news for both free speech and anyone newly on antipsychotic meds who's missing the voices in their heads. Trump has just launched his own social media platform, Truth Social. Elon said it's a bad name. This from a man who can't type his son's name without opening the Windows character map. Boris Johnson has launched the number 10 TikTok account. Millions have watched this video. It's the first time Boris has gone viral since the 1980s, when he picked up a touch of swine flu at a Bullingdon Club initiation ceremony. It's the end of the iPod, the product that built on the success of its forerunner, the iPatch, which did almost as much for promoting piracy. In a historic moment, Prince Charles opened Parliament this week. Charles looked pleased to have made the speech, as well he might. If the coin toss had come down the other way, it could have been barked at us by Bisto the corgi. The Queen wants to keep her strength up for what's believed to be her favourite Jubilee event, the snubbing of the Meghan. Boris has announced that he's going to clamp down on school truancy. It's win-win, as if it doesn't work, he'll soon be declaring, look, smaller class sizes for all. And that's your weekly roundup. Time to get on with the show. Of course, no panel show is complete without panellists, so let's meet our teams. The team captain for the right is making his debut on GB News. Joking, he makes more appearances across the channel than the logo. It's Leo Kearse. And his teammate is a member of the politically aligned right living in Brighton. Excuse me, he's the member of the politically aligned right living in Brighton. It's Simon Evans.
Thank you.
And facing them tonight is the captain of the left team, a woman who is so left-wing, she even dyes her hair red. It's Diane Spencer.
That's not true.
And her teammate, originally from Seattle, the birthplace of Nirvana, and he moved to the UK quite soon after Kurt Cobain killed himself. Coincidence? It's Eric McElroy. So here at Ministry of Offence, we ask our teams to tell us which minister they would like to be. So Leo, I'm going to start with you and your team. What are you the minister of?
This week I'm the Minister of Cancel Culture. So the left have been complaining about cancel culture because this left-wing progressive theatre show, it was a live naked sex show for 5-year-olds was cancelled for obvious reasons. You can't do a live naked sex show for 5-year-olds. Wait until they're 6. Have some standards. I mean, it's put on by people who announce their pronouns everywhere they go, although I should imagine those pronouns are mostly now, then, now, then.
And Simon, what are you the minister of?
A Chancellor of the Exchequer. It's a bit like a Chancellor of the Exchequer, but a bit more word, a bit more way. You know what I mean? Little bit less sound, bit less credentialed, bit less possibly, you know, not quite done the maths, not done all the homework, taking a bit of a chance with things, but hope they'll get away with it. I quite like the idea of a Chancellor of the Exchequer.
The kind of guy who maybe would try and get away with his missus not paying all the tax that maybe she could.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bit of a chance, eh? Yeah, exactly.
Then over to this team, Diane. What are you the minister of?
I am the Minister for Royal Replacements. We thought that Prince Charles did such a fantastic job standing in for the Queen. I think that we should make, replacements available for all the social affairs, but you have to get things that are equal. Do you know what I mean? So if you want Kate and Wills, you could also have Ant and Dec. If you want Sophie and Edward, then you could also have Katie Price and whoever she's with at the moment. If you happen to want Prince Andrew, well, we've got a very lovely, non-threatening, genderless pot plant.
And Eric?
I'm the Minister of Gates. So it's an old ministry that was started in 1972. You may remember our original work, which was Watergate, of course. I think my favorite still, other than the modern ones, has got to be Piggate. If you remember that, when good old David Cameron and had that incident with the pig head. It was controversial whether to call it Piggate or not. We were going to call it Oinkgate originally, because that's the sound that David made at the time. But Piggate is the official title, so don't use the other one. But I do want to say that we are not responsible for Beergate. That has nothing to do with us. That is all Keir Starmer on his own. He basically saw all the attention that Boris was getting for Partygate, and he's like, hey, I'm a fun guy too, you know?
Well, that's the introductions out of the way. I think it's high time we got this show on the road. So it's time for our first round, which is clickbait. Yes, our first round is clickbait, where we give each of our guests a news story and task them to come up with a headline. In true tabloid style, these headlines need to be punny, funny, or downright sensational. Basically anything that's going to draw you in as clickbait. Let's start with the left this week. Diane, I'm coming to you with this story. A mine-sniffing dog, credited with detecting more than 200 explosives in the Ukraine war, has been recognised for his bravery. Ukrainian President Zelensky presented Patron the Jack Russell with a medal and described him as a wonderful little sapper, meaning a military engineer. What can you do with that?
Well, let's be honest for a start. I don't think the dog really knows what it's doing. It knows that if it detects the explosive, it gets the squeaky toy in his owner's pocket. He doesn't. I think if the dog understood what explosives do to soft tissue, it may be less inclined to do his job. But let's still praise the little fellow. So how about dog gets medal but would rather have biscuit? Or perhaps, I do like the word sapper. How about Ukrainian yapper, wonderful little sapper? Yeah, that's quite nice. Oh, thank you. Nation gives dog a round of applause.
Sorry, I just... Yeah, it's got legs, which is more than that dog will have when...
I like the idea that a mine could be so specifically powerful that it would blow the legs off a dog that size, but leave the dog itself alive.
That's how they do them.
Quite
Yeah.
extreme.
It's really just to mess with the heads of the dog owner.
And then it would just be employed as a draft excluder.
Well, actually make a better sapper without legs. You could put it on a bit of rope and just sort of pull it through from the other side.
Eric, please save us from these mental images.
I don't know if this will save it from that, but he who smelt it detected it. That's all I got.
Okay. I'm glad we came back over now.
Yeah.
I'll be agree with you, Neiman. This team, any ideas?
My dog's got no nose. It was blown off by a Russian landmine.
How about win a lot of medals?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see. Yeah, the slow burn, but he got there.
How about terrier sniffs out terrorists?
Right, let's move on with the next one. Let's go to the blue team with this. Here's Leo's story. It's been revealed that Boris Johnson had food poisoning before being grilled about the government's response to the cost of living crisis in an interview last week. Aides claimed that Mr. Johnson had just finished throwing up before going on screen, and a distress signal had been arranged with presenter Susanna Reid in case he needed to make a hasty exit. Any ideas for that?
Is it, for the first time in history, BJ gets gag reflex instead of women?
Instead of Wallace and Gromit, just Boris and Vomit.
Nice.
Because he does always resemble a bit of a plasticine man, doesn't he? Or possibly Susanna Reid just saying, well, I'm glad you brought that up, Prime Minister.
Because he'd just been to Ukraine for a walkabout, so I'd be worried about poisoning. If I had any symptoms, vomiting or anything, so how about Novichok shock after Eastern Bloc walk?
Or just eaten mess.
What a way to ruin a nice pudding.
All right, any ideas over here?
Boris nearly gets Vomexit done.
Hurling hypocrite regurgitates bile at journalist. Yeah, Tory scum.
Well, let's head back to the left. Eric, here's your story. A new app to identify mysterious cheeses has hit the market. Cheezam was inspired by the popular music-finding app Shazam. It compares users' snaps against its database of 9,000 images and looks to identify key features, including the size and shape of mould. Cheezam is currently only available in France, and it's unclear when or if it will roll out to the cheese lovers worldwide. Eric, any thoughts?
I mean, it's the most French app ever. I mean, I would imagine whenever you use it, you have to shrug and go "Pff," at the same time. The fact that it's only available in France seems a bit strange to me because, I mean, why would the French even need to use it? Because they must know their cheeses. I mean, we wouldn't really need it in England, would we? I mean, you would take your cheese, you take your app, and you'd look at it and go, oh, cheddar. Next cheese, pick it up, look at it and go, oh, cheddar. Pick it up and go, what I'm trying to say is you have a lot of cheddar. You wouldn't need it in...
You guys squeeze your cheese out of a can, so we'll not take any insults from you about the quality and variety of our cheeses. Yeah. Your cheese is a synthetic insult to an ancient tradition.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. In America, you wouldn't need it because you would just look at the ingredients on the can, and it would just say, whiz. You gotta get this app. It's e-mental. Thank you. E-damn, this is a good app.
Any more ideas?
Hello, is it Brie you're looking for?
Let's turn over here. Any cheese ideas?
Because this app will let you recognise any cheese. You could say, with this app, nothing gets past your eyes. Because it's in France where they don't pasteurize their cheese. But also, it's pointless. You ever been in a shop that sells cheese and been like, oh, I wonder what this cheese is. There's no label on it. Oh.
I would imagine it's when you come across a cheese in the wild, isn't it? Probably.
Foraging.
You're not quite sure whether it's an edible cheese. You're out foraging for cheese. Fromaging for cheese, I suppose it would be.
Fromaging!
Yeah. I would assume that would be it.
Yeah.
Still tons of useless apps yet to be invented. There you go. Still tons. 250,000 apps now available at the App Store. Still no bottle opener. Weird, isn't it?
There's some private photos that I have of cheese, but I probably can't use those.
Tread carefully, Eric.
If your doctor asked you to take pictures of cheeses, it's not what they meant.
Exactly. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, shower better.
It's new on the NHS. Now, we probably could keep churning these out, but we shouldn't milk it.
Well, wonderful stuff. And finally, let's see what Simon does with this story. Vladimir Putin has been shocked to discover his gymnast lover is pregnant again, sources have claimed. It's alleged that the couple already have 2 children together, which Putin has not publicly acknowledged. Russian Telegram channel General SVR has claimed Putin found out his mistress is yet again pregnant, and by the looks of it, this wasn't planned. Any thoughts on that one?
It's got to be Vlad the Impaler, hasn't it? I think. Kremlin's little gremlins, something like that. Oh, KGBs. There you go.
Any other thoughts over here?
Well, we've seen from the last few weeks that he never knows when to pull out. And I mean, I saw some pictures of her doing gymnastics, and she really bends over backwards to keep him happy.
Any more ideas over here?
I would go with another Russian athlete fails a test. Putin desperate for more troops, making them from scratch. Thank you.
Well, excellent. All great work, but there can only be one winner, and the winner of that round is the blue team.
Typical.
Now it's time for a break. We'll be right back after this.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panelists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Welcome back to Ministry of Offence, in a week where new planning regulations mean neighbours will have to take into account each other's thoughts on building work. The guy next door to me has already asked for my opinion on his extension. Frankly, it's way too big and pretty unsightly. I am talking about his penis. We're still here with Leo Kirst, Simon Evans, Diane Spencer and Eric McElroy. And it's time for our next round, the lie detector. Our teams are shown some newspaper stories from this week, and they must decide which parts of each story are true and which parts are false. The round's head-to-head, so it's fingers on buzzers. Can you spot the lies in the first story? The New York Times has removed the word penis from its Wordle answers to keep the game distinct from the news, a move apparently related to last week's story about a man who had a penis attached to his arm. What are the lies in there? No lies, just buying every word of it. Brilliant.
Is that me? Well, it's true that it is something with Wordle and removing the word, but it wasn't that the penis was attached to an arm. It's that an arm was attached to a penis. Yes, which is quite handy.
Imagine the juggling you could do.
How big does your penis have to be that it can hold an arm?
I'm glad you asked.
So is this somebody whose arm fell off
Yes.
due to necrosis or something, and
Yeah.
to give it a blood supply, they grafted it onto his penis?
That's correct.
So you'd have to encourage the blood to flow to the penis, you'd have to be in a constant state of arousal, which is probably hard to do when you're looking at a necrotic arm.
I don't think it was the word penis. I think it was the word cervix, because a lot of people seem confused about what they are.
Unfortunately, the word cervix has 6 letters, which is the one thing I do know about Wordle, which is that you can't have...
I thought you were going to say the one thing you know about a cervix.
Yeah, the one thing I do know about a cervix. Also contains the Roman for 6 in there as a clue as well, but it's unfortunately...
Did you touch it?
What, the cervix?
No, the Roman numeral for 6.
Yeah.
You're like, what's this? And she's like, it's the Roman numeral for 6.
The VI spot.
Yeah.
It's a...
I know you meant to mouth out the shapes of the alphabet, but back in the olden days, they just did numbers.
Yeah. Aye. That's hence aye. Oh, I think I'm in here.
Anyone else ideas?
You only remove words when they're not being used anymore. And if my husband is anything to go by, that word is uncontrollably used a lot.
Does he drop the P-bomb quite a bit then?
No, that's not what I meant. I meant I'm a very lucky lady. Thanks, team.
Is it big enough to have an arm on it?
A lady doesn't...
You've seen me limp.
No. I know her husband, and that's
Sorry.
Is it fanny? Because you're not allowed sexualised words, and in America, they probably had fanny in it, thinking it just, because in America it just means your bum, but over here it means your fanny.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, no one got the correct answer. Actually, they've removed the word fetus from the Wordle answers following last week's leaked Roe v. Wade Supreme Court ruling on abortions.
And because they don't know how to spell it.
Right to Life campaigners have hit back, insisting they should have let it go to full term and then had it adopted by Scrabble. Moving on, can you spot the lie in this next story? Fingers on buzzers. Mark Hedges, the editor of Country Life, has slammed homeowners who swap the city for rural life in COVID, but moan about Wi-Fi speeds and don't know how to cook hedgehog hot pot or fluff a ferret.
The lie is that he's not called Mark Hedges, because that would be an appropriate name for somebody who writes about the countryside. His name is Mark Urban Desolation.
Incidentally, everyone knows how to cook hedgehog. That's something you're taught, basically. That's like a really basic skill, right? You know
Pack it in clay.
Pack it in clay, exactly. And then you
Did
put it
everybody
in
know
the
that?
oven, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
well, this is now a cookery show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pack it in clay. You don't even. It's actually a great food because you don't need to gut it. Apparently, the guts just shrivel up inside it, and
Once you put it in the middle of the fire, once it's done, you crack it open, and there it is. You eat it like an avocado. You just scoop out the soft inside. It's lovely, and all the prickles stay in the clay.
Yeah.
How bad were the olden days?
Yeah. This is popular even now in little sort of like trolleys outside York Minster. They're sold to American tourists.
We call it a Worcester coconut.
Yeah.
Wow, it's not the right answer, I'm afraid.
I think the lie is about the idea of hedgehogs altogether. I don't think hedgehogs exist. I've lived in the UK for 22 years. I've never seen one. I've seen more unicorns than I've seen hedgehogs. I think you've made it all up. Although, to be fair, I've never left Zone 3. But still, I don't think they're real.
Well, I can tell you no one got the correct answer. The real story is that Hedges was moaning about the fact that they don't know how to cook potted squirrel or tickle a trout. I find hedgehog makes a great starter. Train one to walk between dinner guests and you can stick no end of cheese and pineapples on those little spines. OK, everyone fingers on buzzers. Here comes the next lie-laden story. EasyJet plans to tackle staff shortages by removing one of the toilets on its flights so it can fly with fewer crew. By removing one of the bathrooms on its A319 planes, the budget airline will be able to fly with 3 crew members instead of 4. What's the lie there?
The A319 is not a plane, it is Bagshot Road in Surrey. Thank you.
Some Surrey fans in. Look at that. The lie is that on all the seats on an EasyJet plane, they're all toilets.
I think the story's correct, but the headline originally just read Pissy Jet.
You know, on EasyJet, you've got to pay more to sit together. Well, they've realised that the sort of people who fly on EasyJet would actually rather sit apart. So now they're changing it. They're changing it so you pay more to sit apart. You can stick your mother-in-law down the other end of the aircraft.
Lock her in the lavatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have them anymore.
Gosh, it sounds like a rural road accident. I would imagine, I'm guessing seriously, what they've done is they have removed a member of staff in order to make room for an extra toilet, because they've realised that would actually be more welcome. Nobody needs members of staff on EasyJet. People do actually want to use the bog without having to queue up and getting panicked when they go into a bit of turbulence.
Or just one of the members of staff just stood there like that.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
They've removed a row of seats. I saw that. That's the real answer. I saw it in the news.
You've got how this show works. Yeah. Great, yeah.
So yeah, apparently they're struggling for staff. So by removing a row of seats, you can fire somebody.
It's the correct answer.
Wow.
Yeah, EasyJet's planning to tackle staff shortages by removing the back row of seats on its flight so it can fly with fewer crew. They're going to use the extra space to move all of the seats back and give everyone extra leg room. I'm kidding. They're probably just going to put an Amazon pickup point will be put in there or something. Now it's time for our next game, Spin Doctors. In this round, one member from each team will take on the persona of a public relations specialist as they defend a public figure who's done something this week that was erroneous, fallacious, or just plain moronic. The right, you're up first. Who will you be spinning this week?
We'll be spinning Priti Patel.
Let's remind ourselves of the story.
And I actually just want to start.
Priti Patel, your racist policies are killing people. Your plans to send people seeking asylum to Rwanda are inhumane, they're inhumane, and are going to ruin people's lives.
Priti Patel, as a young person who wants to live in a fair and compassionate society, we are disgusted by your treatment of refugees in the UK.
Right, spin that.
So that was demonstrators dressed as young Tories to infiltrate a Tory, some sort of Tory meeting. But they're all hypocrites. I bet they went home to their houses that had locks on the doors. People like these wet wipes are saying, oh, but they're fleeing persecution. They're refugees. It's like they're fleeing France.
They're fleeing Cheezan, is what they're fleeing, isn't it?
Were they fleeing snooty waiters? dog poo on the pavement, like the faint odour of garlic, it's a nonsense. So the residents, they've all got 700 people in this little village, and they're going to get 1,500 asylum seekers, illegal immigrants, whatever you want to call them, depending on if you're the Daily Mail or the Guardian. 1,500, fighting age men, from countries with ideologies that might not be completely compatible with a little country village in Norfolk. They're being decried as racist. I don't know. I think we should put all these men maybe next to some Guardian readers. Put them in Islington. I think people are complaining that Priti Patel wants to send them to Rwanda instead of Dundee or Middlesbrough or somewhere like that. But I don't know, Rwanda. I've seen photos of Rwanda. It looks pretty nice. There's sunshine. There's fresh food. There's lots of space. I think that's a bit of a bonus. I think we should just go to Calais with photos of Dundee. And that'll stop anybody risking their lives to get here. It's like my mate Radu says, nobody comes to Britain because they want to. They come to Britain because they can't get in somewhere better, like America. It seems, more humane than the Italian plan, which was just to turn the boats round and give them a big shove. So, at least we're sending them to Rwanda instead of to certain death.
I think what would possibly... I have been thinking about this a little bit because it's been running on for some time and yet they haven't actually managed to send anyone there yet, and it's starting to run out of steam. There's all these legal challenges, and I think maybe they need to zhuzh it up a little bit. And the obvious opportunities for a game show waiting for them in Rwanda, right? Based on I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. They just need to have I'm an asylum seeker, get me out of here. They have to demonstrate, go through a number of challenges, demonstrate their proper asylum seeker status rather than the, as you say, economic migrant status. And that could become an extraordinarily big hit, which would become a self-funding enterprise then. Roll that out for a few months. If you want Ant and Dec to be involved, I'm absolutely fine with that personally, and, possibly a mountain gorilla or two as well. Instead of the usual eating bugs thing, you actually have to sort of mingle with the silverbacks.
And the alternative would be, if they actually come to the UK, is they've got to appear in this show.
Yeah.
Haven't they suffered enough? Splendid stuff. Diane, you're up next. Who will you be spinning this week?
We are spinning Her Majesty the Queen's decision to exclude non-working royals from Trooping the Colours balcony.
Let's have a little reminder of this story.
By the Queen's own command, the next will feature a slimmed down cast, just working members of the family. So no invitation for the disgraced Prince Andrew and no place for the estranged Harry and Meghan.
I don't see this as an exclusion. I see this as a very, very pointed move that the celebrations are all about the Queen and the focus must be entirely on the Queen and basically nobody else.
So no distractions needed on the balcony?
So no distractions needed on the balcony.
Off you go.
I now defend Her Majesty's decision. One of them is an alleged sexual assaultist, and the other is an ungrateful, whining little who has embarrassed his family on global TV. I rest my case.
For legal reasons, which one's which? Don't say, actually.
Dr. Safety.
No, this is not pushing away or pushing back by the Queen. This is not a grudge match or anything like that. This is a health and safety issue. On that balcony, there's going to be lots of people, some of whom are going to be under 16 years of age. And not everyone has passed their recent CRB check. Meghan actually is not feeling bad about this at all. She did not want to be there because she doesn't want to be around any alleged royal, sex offenders. She'd rather be in Hollywood around alleged Hollywood sex offenders. That's where she feels most comfortable.
Prince Andrew can't go anyway because he's going to be at the Pizza Express in Worthing.
That was Woking. I won't have Worthing.
Thank you.
Bad mouth. That's my neighbourhood. We know a perv when we see one. He would have been chased out of there with flaming torches.
An alleged perv, sir.
Well, does it even have a Pizza Express?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Seems too posh. It's more of a Carluccio's.
I like the way they're all looking up there as if they've just spotted the fighter jets coming in to just dispatch them all.
Well, both well spun, but ultimately it's up to me to decide who had the best spin, and I think the most compelling defence was the red team. It's time for a break. Your chance to go to the toilet and perhaps refill your glass, although for heaven's sake, not at the same time. We'll be right back after this.
I'm Mark Dolan. Join me at 11 on GB News for Headliners, in which I'll be joined by two of the UK's top comedians discussing tomorrow's papers. If it's an important story, we'll cover it, but we'll have some fun along the way. Headliners, the late night paper review that won't send you to sleep like the others will. 7 nights a week at 11 p.m. on GB News.
Welcome back to Ministry of Offence, in the week where a new anti-protest law makes it illegal to stick yourself to infrastructure like trains, which means Southern Rail may have to abandon the plans to increase capacity by covering commuter services with felt and handing out Velcro onesies. We're still here with Leo Kearse, Simon Evans, Diane Spencer and Eric McElroy, and it's time for our next round, Anti-Social Media. Yes, this is Anti-Social Media, in which we look at online reactions to various world events and then ask our teams to guess who said what about whom. The teams will need to match each post to an event or the celebrity that said it. Think of it as social media snap. OK, Diane and Eric, over to you. Yours are all written about someone. He truly does just have that enigmatic, exciting and vibrant energy that feels so much like blank. I'm so excited, it's unreal. Any early thoughts?
He does have that enigmatic, exciting and vibrant energy that feels so much like Jacob Rees-Mogg in drag.
Here's your next one. He's older than blank was and the same age as blank when he took the role. The older demographic isn't worried about the age of blank.
If it's the older demographic, it's got to be a gardening show, isn't it? I'd have thought. He's older than Titchmarsh was and the same age as Percy Thrower when he took the role. Now we're going back about it.
Let's see if this final one helps. It's going to seriously upset Priti Patel that a young blank man is going to get to travel everywhere in blank and she can't do anything about it. Brilliant.
I think I know what this is. This is about Doctor Who, because they've announced the new Doctor, and it's he was on Sex Education. He's a black guy. Some people have been actually there hasn't been much of a backlash because I think white men are now resigned to this kind of thing. We know, like, for the next few years, this we're not going to be in adverts unless we're in some sort of transgender
We might get to play Jimmy Savile.
We'll get to play Jimmy Savile, or we can still be in gambling addiction adverts, but that's it.
Yeah. Is your husband a sex offender?
Yeah.
Those are bizarre. Yeah. Those are still all white couples. Yeah. Those adverts. It's odd.
I think if anybody's upset about a black Doctor Who, wait till they see the NHS.
Well, I can tell you, Leo, you got it absolutely right. Yes, it's Doctor Who, played by the gay black actor Ncuti Gatwa. I don't know what people are complaining about. It's not that much of a stretch for me, which is coincidentally what I said during my last prostate check. Leo and Simon, here are your posts, which are all about someone or something being discussed on social media. Here are your tweets. Let's take a look at these. Wherever there's virtue signalling, you'll find blank.
Maybe, just based on the size of the blacked out word, I think it might be Nemo.
OK, let's see if the next one helps. Hope blank wasn't cutting about trying to look cool, clicking his fingers like the Fonz. We know what happens when blank clicks his fingers.
I know what this is. It's about Bono, because Bono, when he's on stage doing his music with U2, he used to do this thing, because it's not enough to just listen to some music now, you've got to have a lecture about poverty. So he clicks his finger and he says, every time I snap my fingers, a child in Africa dies. So somebody in the audience, he was playing in Dublin or Glasgow, I think it was, and somebody in the audience shouted, well, stop clicking your fingers!
He's like a mini Thanos. Yeah. Just one at a time, the hard way. Yeah. Yep, you're right, but I can show you the last tweet to confirm it. You heard the Irish joke, what's the difference between Jesus Christ and blank? Jesus Christ doesn't travel the globe pretending he's blank.
It's totally true. Bono, like, he's always lecturing on poverty, all this kind of stuff. He was obviously over in Ukraine recently. He lectures on poverty while dodging his taxes. He was revealed in the Panama Papers to be actually illegally dodging his taxes. And please don't sue me if I got that wrong, Bono. But it's your fault for being named after a dog food. He preaches about climate change as well, and once paid for a first-class seat to fly his hat. He was missing his favourite hat, so he paid for a seat on an airplane to fly his hat.
First class?
First class. Well, it could have just been on the head of somebody sitting in
You
economy.
can't have Bono's hat sitting next to you in economy, though, can you? Because you would sooner or later you get and sit on it, wouldn't you? You would know that would
If you're on an EasyJet with a missing toilet, you'd take a dump in it.
Yep, it's Bono, and the tweets are in response to news that he'd visited war-torn Ukraine. We should be kind to Bono, though, as apparently he's struggling with his mental health. I heard that the last time you two were on stage, he was pretty close to the edge. And the winner of that round is the blue team.
It's a big game.
And it's time now for our next round, Mass Debate. Now, in this round, we give the contestants one big topic to debate. It'll be something that's dominating the headlines, and each team has to take a side. This week's debate is about an event of national importance, the Wagatha Christie trial, where Rebecca Vardy, wife of Leicester City star Jamie Vardy, is suing fellow wag Colleen Rooney after Rooney accused Vardy of leaking false stories about her in 2019. The very foundations of our democracy are at play here. Truth, justice, and the size of Peter Andre's Winky. Leo and Simon will be arguing for Team Vardy and Diane and Eric for Team Rooney. Let's remind ourselves of the case.
The war of the wags played out in painstaking detail on social media. Colleen Rooney had got really suspicious and fed up of the fact that details of her private life that she was sharing on her private Instagram kept making their way into the Sun newspaper, and she, and which is now, it's been dubbed this sort of Wagatha Christie, in an Agatha Christie style investigation, she conducted, let's say, a sting operation.
I'm going to let Team Vardy speak first. Take it away, Leo and Simon.
Well, Rebecca Vardy, whoever she is, she's releasing facts that are in the public interest. We didn't know for sure what size Peter Andre's penis was before that.
I've got one point of information. I don't know whether it helps her case or not, but I have found it irritating that she's invariably referred to in the newspapers as a wag. The WAG acronym is short for wives and girlfriends. You can't be a wag. You are either a wife or a girlfriend. She should be referred to as a wife or girlfriend, or whatever the acronym would be for
Who
that.
knows?
Sir, right honourable sir, I would like to interject because wife and girlfriend WAG has transferred into the common parlance, and it is a wag because this is the issue. Rebecca Vardy was spying on the other wags. She was spying on Colleen, and the fact that she was taking everybody else's information and leaking it is why we have this trial. So we must have wag because we have many wags, and the wags have all got a value to them, and she was exploiting it.
I don't know, I mean, as a political commentator, you dream of the day you're going to be able to tackle a topic such as something to do with Rebecca Vardy and Colleen Rooney, whoever they are. I don't know, I find football boring in itself, but the girlfriends of footballers, oh my God, we're reaching. I think the only way this could become more interesting is if they're both slowly fed into a mincer, feet first, while they're serenaded with 3 lions, just so that being fed into a mincer feet first isn't the worst thing that's happening to them that day.
Is she wearing a broken foot support?
No, actually,
there.
she is an Imperial Stormtrooper.
Okay.
And she forgot to
I
get
just
completely
wonder whether
changed.
she might have seen David Beckham wearing one when he actually broke his metatarsal and assumed it was just the latest fashion. And she's done,
That would make it not so much a Wagatha Christie as a Miss Metacarpal.
Yeah, very good.
I think that, for one thing, they're struggling on the side over there to defend Miss Vardy because they know that she is more leaky than the Titanic.
It's basically an argument in a Weatherspoons that's just been scaled up to where you're spending like £2 million each on lawyers and stuff like this. This is good. This is good. A good example of why the Tory policy of keeping working class people poor is a good one.
It's reassuring though, isn't it? It's nice to have your stories like you got Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, you've got stories like this, basically just reassuring that people who superficially appear to have cracked it are in fact having even more miserable lives than the rest of them. It's bloody wonderful, extraordinarily generous.
The whole reason why we have this case is because Colleen Rooney was criticised for saying it was Rebecca Vardy's account. And she chose that word on purpose. Now, let's remember that...
Rebecca Vardy's a what?
Account!
Oh, account, sorry.
Rebecca Vardy has lost so much important evidence. The second it's being requested into court, she loses it. Like they asked to look at the phone, it fell into the sea. Suddenly the laptop broke. Suddenly they lost all the passwords. We haven't had this much evidence destroyed since they started burning all the cheese and wine receipts after Partygate.
I mean, ultimately, these are Colleen's stories to sell to the Sun herself.
I just thought it was nice to see Wayne Rooney. I haven't seen Wayne Rooney in ages, and he seems to have turned into a Bulgarian weightlifter. It's hilarious. He's not a footballer anymore. He's now a manager of a chip shop. By the looks of it. And yeah, I think if that's Wagatha Christie, then he is Magnum pork pie.
And now it's time for our final round, the quickfire Q&A. In our final round, I'll be asking rapid-fire questions based on all the news this week. Our teams will have to buzz in and be the fastest to answer to gain the points. So, fingers on buzzers. Question 1. According to lip-reading experts, what did Boris Johnson refer to himself as during the opening of Parliament? I think you should get a point for that. Any other ideas?
Big Willie Bojo.
Who's the big dog? I'm the big dog.
Because he wouldn't say who's the daddy because he's sick of that question. Apparently the answer was, according to lip-reading experts, he said to Keir Starmer, I am the devil. Question 2. What has Prince William been awarded with this week? Any other ideas?
Is it Rear of the Year?
No.
Pipe Smoker of the Year.
No, not yet.
Slimmer of the Week!
No, it's a BAFTA for the work on the Earthshot Prize. What has Lewis Hamilton been in rows with Formula One rulers about?
He doesn't like the other cars being in front of him.
Good point. No.
His nose ring.
Yes, it's about removing earrings, but that's close enough.
Oh.
What has an Australian farmer taught his dog to do?
Fetch a boomerang. All the dog has to do is just sit there.
That's my answer. Taught him to do sheep.
Is it a Nazi salute?
Thinking of the other dog. It's to drive a car to assist with farm work. What's sold for a record-breaking $195 million this week?
Elon Musk's eyebrows.
Any other ideas?
Yeah, it's an Andy Warhol painting of Marilyn Monroe.
Is the correct answer.
Very impressive, wow.
Wow.
Who did Prince Harry do acting work for this week?
Ron Weasley.
The stunt double. Nice.
James Hewitt. He acted like they're not related.
It's close, but it's Travelist, a non-profit travel organisation. Next one. A former Lyon defender was released from his contract for doing what in the changing rooms?
Talking about his emotions.
No, not right.
He farted.
He did, and he made his teammates laugh. A 6-year-old boy has discovered the tooth of which prehistoric animal?
Anne Widdecombe.
Not the right answer.
Megalodon.
Is the right answer.
Yeah!
Lionel Messi has partnered with which country to boost its tourism trade?
Rwanda.
They don't need to anymore, do they? No.
It's Mordor? It's not. It's actually worse than Mordor. It's Saudi Arabia.
It's the correct answer. Over the course of its 80 years on radio, what's been the most chosen piece of music on Desert Island Discs?
The one from the car advert. Mozart.
No.
Did he write it for that?
Oh, Ride of the Valkyries.
No.
Is it Beethoven's ninth?
No. Lower than a ninth.
Fifth?
No, it means none of the Beethoven. First letter of the composer, H.
It's Handel's Messiah.
Yes, it's What keeps washing up dead on beaches in Whitby, Yorkshire?
Records of Handel's Messiah.
Not the right answer.
Octopuses.
Nope.
The future of comedy.
Sperm whales.
No. Anyone else?
The Dutch.
Is it like crabs?
It is like crabs.
Lobsters.
Not as in-
Lobsters.
Yes. Goal hanging, possibly, but still.
And that means that, sadly, we've also reached the end of the show. Congratulations to our winning team, The Left. To the winners, your prize, you get to deliver the next Queen's speech. And to the losers, you won't go away empty-handed. You get to deliver Keir's next curry. Thanks to our team captains, Leo Kearse and Diane Spencer. And to our guests this week, Simon Evans and Eric McElroy. I've been your host, Stephen Allen, and we will be back next week at the same time. See you then.